you need to imagine that I'm neither male nor female. It has not been easy for my parents. In a world that is used to thinking in opposite terms, it can be difficult to understand shades. And they needed an answer. Doctors did not accept the idea that my body didn't show the traits they expected in a boy or girl. And they told them that in this case, the only solution is normalization surgery. They were thinking in black and white frameworks and proposed to my parents a sex change surgery, one that would have had lifelong, irreversible effects. They almost convinced my parents, but mom and dad are heroes. They began to study and talk with other doctors, intersex associations, and parents. They discovered that my situation is less rare than one might think, that you can grow happily with a body like mine, and that surgery compromised the health of many like me. Sadly, intersex genital mutilation surgeries are carried out regularly, even though they've been addressed as human rights violations. No one deserves to undergo a forced sex change.
You might not know there's a difference between gender and sex, but there's more to it than just he and she. Because gender is a spectrum, there are dozens of different gender identities, but there are only 3 sexes. Gender is a social construct, and sex is assigned at birth based on biological characteristics like chromosomes, reproductive organs, and other features that you're born with. If you have 2 X chromosomes, you're assigned female. If you have 1 X and 1 Y chromosome, you're assigned male. And if you have both male and female reproductive organs, you're considered intersex. Intersex people have an anatomy or physiology that does not fit into the socially constructed definitions of a female or a male body. Around 1.7% of the population is intersex. That's nearly as many people as there are redheads. Sometimes intersex people can have both ovaries and testicular tissue, or have higher hormone levels that are not typically seen in an assigned sex. Gender, on the other hand, is how you identify and express yourself to others. It's not a fixed state, but a continuum that can change over time. While most of popular culture focuses on 2 genders, there are many people who identify as non-binary, which means they don't identify as a man or a woman. There are also many cultures, past and present, that recognize more than 2 genders. For example, the Incas worshipped a dual-gendered god. Native American communities recognize 2-spirit people, who most tribes see as embodying a gender identity separate from men and women. And in indigenous Hawaiian culture, a person could be assumed male or female, but decide to take on a gender role opposite theirs, somewhere in between, or one that incorporates both masculine and feminine roles. Today, there are many gender identities and many ways to express them. There are over 50 gender pronouns like Z and Zim, and as of 2021, Facebook offers more than 50 gender options for users to choose from.
What's up, YouTube? I am back with another Intersex series episode, number 4. Okay? And this one is going to be talking about me, my intersex, and my father. The relationship between my father and I, and how it affected us with me being intersex. Stay tuned. Episode number 4, season 1, my intersex series, my father and I. Whew, this is going to be a tough one, but we're going to get through it. And I thank you so much for the positive DMs. I just thank you so much for all the positivity and the feedback you guys are giving me. This is really hard for me. And it's just, it feels good to know that I have you all in my corner. All of you all. Thank you so much. I have seen so much support in my Intersex series that is overwhelming. So I thank you. Phoenix Tribe, subscribe, and start the intro, please.
Is this daddy's little girl? Aubrey loves girl toys. Aubrey is female. Or Mama's little boy.
He didn't want to wear dresses. Aubrey's boy.
The child was born intersex. They're raising Aubrey as both a boy and a girl.
What do you want to be? Do you want to be a girl?
It's heartbreaking to see Aubrey like that.
What's heartbreaking to me is you're interrogating a 4-year-old.
So it begins. Now let's bring it back a little bit. Now from my father's perspective, I'm coming out the womb. He's late coming in, of course. And my mother's pushing, I'm coming out, of course. You know the story, I'm asleep. One blue eye, one brown eye, hazel eye. Head full of hair and ambiguous genitalia. Once he finally comes in, he states, "What did I have? I'm sorry I'm late. Blase, blase." They say the genitalia is ambiguous, and we don't know yet. He says, "What do you mean you don't know yet?" And they state they don't know the sex of the baby yet, and explains not because it's intersex, because this word intersex is just arrived way after the 80s. Keep in mind, they don't know what this is. So they explain the best that they can, and he says, "I don't want to it for a child." I state, like I did with my mother, you cannot blame him for how he felt at that moment, how he felt at that time, because you got to keep in mind, he's 19 years old, thinking he's having a boy, and wanting a boy. And it's not a boy or a girl. It's both. So kind of put your minds in his head and minds too. All right. further along. I'm a child now. I'm a toddler. And they're together. My mother, my father's together. They making it work. I guess he's trying. They go through some relationship type woes and problems, like any other relationship does. And then I get older, and I guess it gets worse. He starts cheating. She gets bitter and angry, and then she reflects it back on me. But that's the next episode, not this one. I'm gonna keep it focused on my father. But she reflects, and it just got worse and worse and worse. She kept reflecting on me as he kept cheating. Back and forth, back and forth. Now, fast forward to me being just a regular child looking for my father. I asked my mother, can I stay all night at my father's house? I start asking about my daddy. Where's my daddy? Because I didn't know where he was. He was absent from my life. And I'm just stating facts. For those family members who might get offended, I'm just telling my story, and I'm telling you what happened to me. So I finally get in touch with him. My mother tells me, okay, it's okay for you to call. I don't know what happened in the background or what was said, but I could finally call him. I'm 8 years old. I'm calling him. I said, hey, Daddy, can I come over and stay all night? He's sure. He's hesitant. My uncle comes and picks me up. My uncle was always there for me. Shout out to you. He's been more, not to offend anyone, but he's been more of a father to me than my father has, as far as that side of my family goes. So we're back. I'm 8 years old. I asked him, can I come stay all night? I go, I stay all night. But when I get there, it's around Christmas time, and all the kids all my cousins got their gifts, and I'm appreciative of everything I get, but they have just loads and loads of gifts. And I'm telling you from a 8-year-old's perspective, I had this one little toy, this gift in state. My father left as soon as he dropped me off. I don't know where he was, but I was there with my grandmother and my grandfather. At that time, my grandfather was an alcoholic, and he would speak his mind a lot. And he would say a lot of hurtful things out loud as he was drinking. And I know my grandmother on my father's side would laugh it off and tell me, don't worry about him. You know, he's just a drunk. He's blah, 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 blah. So I had to deal with that, and I'm just feeling uncomfortable and out of place in that house. The only one who really made me feel welcome was my grandmother. I love you so much. And my uncle. I was too young to even know who I was. So I go and open up my gift, and it's this tiger. It wasn't even wrapped. And they opened it for me. Didn't have no batteries. It was a little Tonka thing, and you know, little things click, boom, click, boom, click, boom. That one of them. So I'm so joyous and happy, but I'm looking at all them still opening up their gifts while I'm clicking and booming. Father's still not there. Then grandfather comes out the back and whispers in my ear, you ain't never been welcome in this damn house. Hell, we don't even know what you are. At that point, I was over it. I already have to sit down and pee and wonder what's wrong with me already in my head. So I called my mother and said, Mommy, I'm ready to come home. I explained to her what happened, and she goes off. She comes and picks me up, and then she calls and cuts them out. So time gap, a lot of space in between. From 8 years old to 12 now. At this time, I called and, it's another Christmas time. Holidays is when you see people. Christmas time, and I'm calling, and I say, Merry Christmas, and I can I come over, and, blah, blah, blah. I don't know who was on the phone. I believe it was my grandmother or my auntie one. They said, who in the HELL is this? Adrian don't have no kids. And if he did, we would know about it. Ha 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 ha. That's what she said to me. His child. So once I get to the end of this story, you would understand why I reacted, and how I felt, Okay, so yeah, I'm 12 years old. Another time gap, because of course my mother went off on the phone and called them back, and it just went on and on and on from there. So now I'm 14. My mother passes away. My father comes back in my life. It's time for prom. So I thank you, my cousins, for being there for me and my grandmother and my godmother. So my father come back into my life, prom time. We're talking about my father, so we're gonna up there. He wasn't in my life like that, so this is gonna be kind of a quick story. And I'm using dark humor because I'm trying not to cry, trying not to use any other emotion but inspiring, because this ish hurts. It hurts to the core. Because people will want a relationship with their father, right? I did. But hey, it is what it is. And I had to work with what I had. So me being intersex and my father trying to find his way around me and I guess get to know me the best way he knew how. In my head is this guilt, him coming back into my life, offering to buy me clothes for my award ceremonies for acting and coming to my plays and trying to be a part of my life now. Now that my mother's gone and my father's still living, yeah, maybe I should try. This is me in my head. Maybe I should try to get along with him. I don't want to feel like I'm using him, but he's offering. I don't have no money. I'm staying with my cousin. She's doing the best she can to take care of me. So yes, Father, I forgive you. Let's start over. By then, he formed a whole nother family. Shout out to my stepmother. I love you all. Haven't seen them since things happened, but that's the head of the story. Anyway, prom time. I'm getting to know her. This is a surprise. Never met her before in my life, and I'm being introduced to somebody and the kids. I think there were 3 kids. I forget. It's been a minute. 3 kids and a wife. Yeah, he got married. Where was I? I don't know. Trying to survive, get through my life, I guess. Figure things out. In the first 3 episodes, you'll get it. But yeah, so prom time. He's back in my life with a whole new family. And in my head, okay, don't feel some type of way. Forgive. And give him a chance. Get to know the stepmother and the kids. And I'm saying the stepmother and the kids not a disrespect, but not just to name any names because a lot of people watch me. And this is getting out everywhere and it's just out of respect for their privacy. So the stepmother and the kids, I get to know them. We get to know each other through the shopping, of getting my clothes and, after shopping, going out to eat and doing, you know what I mean? Doing things, catching up with things I'm going through and not really skating across the surface of conversation. It was like shallow conversation. How things been going? How you been doing? How's your grades? Blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that. So, he's in my life again. I'm a senior, prom time. He pays for everything, and I appreciate it, and I love him for it. But it doesn't take the place of time. Moments. Things you could have taught me to how to be a man, so these men wouldn't make fun of me because I don't know how to be a man, because you never taught me. But it is what it is, like I said. Prom time comes, I lose all this weight. If you look back in my episodes, you see how I got through that. And champagne party, little going away thing, everything, getting to the limousine. I thank God for my grandfather at that time, because he really looked out for me. I don't know where my father was, but he was absent. Prom time come. Thank you for the clothes. I'm wearing them. I'm haircut. He take me to get a haircut, looking good, but he wasn't there for the prom. But hey, I appreciate whatever he did. I'm at the prom. I'm looking good, walking in. Had a good night. Everything was good. I'm glad I didn't miss that experience as an intersex person. My friends didn't know what was going on with me, my date, my friend Andrea, for so many years. Nobody knew. They just thought I was gay. They just summed it up to that. Most straight people, in their heads, it's easier to sum up to say, yeah, he's just gay. You know what I mean? That's just to good stay outside of that gray area. It's always black and white, but in their heads. But it's always a gray area in minds. Excuse my voice. I'm holding back a lot of tears. I've gotten through it, and I'm getting through it with you all. Because I haven't attacked any of these issues until this Intersex series. And bringing all this back up, after I cut off the camera, I break down. Y'all don't even know. I break all the way down. And I'm keeping it real with y'all. Graduation time. I'm there, I'm getting ready, I'm nervous. I finally make it there. He say he might not be able to make it. He's late. He never picked up the tickets. I left them in the mailbox when I left my cousin's house. Thank you, my cousin D. I say cousin D because I don't want her name out there. Thank you for so much. You made me feel so much better. You inspired me and you kept me together. Getting ready for graduation and us leaving, you gave me a good talking to on the way. Thank you. That hurt. He missed my graduation. I know my mother saw me in heaven graduate. She was always there for me in my studies and made sure I knew what I needed to know in school. She kept my weight down and she kept me smart. I guess she was strict on me because she wanted me together and wanted me to go further than her. I love her for loving me the only way she knew how to love me. So graduation, he missed the graduation. I come back home after everything is over and I look in the mailbox and the tickets are still there. I'm thinking maybe in my head, maybe he's in the audience and he just left early. I know when I walked across that stage, I looked up in the sky and I said, I love you, Mommy. And I looked out into the audience and I saw all the people that was there for me, shouting for me. And I thank you. And I just appreciated the people that was there. The people that love me. Because I'm sorry, y'all. That was a big moment in my life and he missed it. He missed it. So we fast forward. And after graduation, he calls me, gives me these excuses. Of course, I forgive him because that's all I know how to do. Is forgive. Why hold on to it? And I thank my cousin D for the spiritual guidance I had after my mother passed. Because if it wasn't for that spiritual guidance, I wouldn't be right here today telling my story, forgiving. Yeah, I'm feeling the pain, I'm feeling the emotions, but I do forgive him and I do love him and I am over it. But I still haven't talked about it, and I'm talking to you I'm talking to you right there that's watching me. And you know what I'm trying to say. You think back to things that happened and you're going to feel it. It's real. These are raw emotions and I'm giving it to y'all. I'm giving it to you. So maybe it can help you. Like the phoenix, you shall rise from the ashes like me. Anyway, fast forward. If you look at my other episodes, you would know the story. I moved from my cousin D house to go to my cousin B house. She passed, I find her. I'm fast forwarding because this is the focus of my father, and if you want to know that story, you will look at my other 3 episodes. Thank you. And please remember to like this video. So, I'm working for Vaughn's Market, staying at my cousin B's house. She passes away, and I'm staying there on my own with my friend there. And I'm working at Vaughn's, and I've been working there. I'm the cashier. I'm getting people out. You know what I mean? I'm focused. I'm good at what I do. I'm getting my thing on. I'm in college. You know what I mean? 2nd year college. I'm doing my thing. I'm doing my grown up thing. I'm working. You know, father's not in my life. He fell off again. Lost contact. But my uncle came. My uncle, as always keeping me in on what's going on with the family, and I thank you. I love you for that. I love you for being there for me, the way you know how to be there for me. He came in. I see him walking in Vaughn's, and I'm like, Uncle, hey, what are you doing? I'm still working. It's busy. He said, I got something to tell you. Can you kind of pause for a minute? And I said, huh, what happened? I said, I'm sorry. I'll just be 1 second. What happened? And he said, your father passed away. At that moment, everything stopped. This is me in my head. Not anybody's perception, not his perception of what he thought, and went back to tell his friend, and his friend threatened me and said that I'm out of order when he don't even know our past. If you're watching this, please understand. Watch episode 1 through now. You'll get it. Understand why I feel like I feel at this point, like I said at the beginning of this story. He's telling me that my father passed away when he's been falling in and out of my life. Wasn't there in my graduation. Just be in my head and live a little in my head for a second. My reaction was, and I stayed. Okay, I'll call you when I get off. Oh my God, I'm so sorry this happened to you. I hug him. I feel for him because he just lost his brother. And I say, I'll call you when I get off. He said, okay. But he said, you don't need to be off. Are you okay? And people, my boss starts walking to me. I love you, my boss V. I'm just doing initials because I just out of respect. My boss V, I love her. She walked up, man, you need to be off. Are you good? I said, I'm good. See, the way I handle things, if you look in other episodes, my grandmother said, get up, take care of business. Don't cry now, cry later. Do what you need to do now. Save face, be strong, and get through it right now and cry later. And that's what popped in my head. It wasn't like I didn't care. It wasn't like I wasn't feeling it. I hate that he passed away and we wasn't as close as I wanted to be. But it just wasn't what it was. And yeah, I felt something. I felt hurt because I felt a loss, a void. And when he told me that, it was like, and I guess he took it wrong, and I'm sorry for that. But, I mean, hey. So he leaves kind of abruptly. I knew he had attitude, but hey, it's my daddy, my experience, my truth. I'm walking. Understand? So I'm finished working. I have a little breakdown, which he didn't know about. And I say, V, I think I need to be off. I don't think I can handle it today because it was so much going on. And I'm thinking about him having an attitude. My father gone, my mama gone, I'm intersex. I still don't understand myself at that moment in time. I didn't. It was a lot. So I'm off of work. I gather all the information. I go to the funeral, and I'm fast forwarding the drama. I just stated a little of it, but I don't want to drag that out and that be the focus. That person that said what he said, I guess we're cool now because there was no other type of emotion once we met. The funeral, I'm sitting there at the funeral. I see family that I've never met, people that my father, that has been in his life that I've never met. I said a poem and I sung at his funeral. As I'm saying my poem and I say I'm his son, because that's what people know me as, I wasn't ready to tell anybody what I was because I didn't understand who I was until now. So I stated as I was his son, and there was a gasp in the air. I'm wondering, why is everybody gasping? I finished my poem. I sit down. We go through the viewing. I start crying because as the preacher's preaching and they're doing the viewing of the body, I'm thinking about how so many moments I missed listening to all of his stepkids and his wife and his co-workers and his boss and his friends, close friends, talk about his life and never mention me once. And talk about his life and how he lived his life and how he lived a full life and how he was so helpful and generous and giving. Who, really? I didn't know this man. Who is this man? This is me in my head at my father's funeral. So at the end of the funeral, everybody's rushing up to me saying, I didn't know he had a son. Oh my God, he had a son. You look just like him. Oh my God, he had a son. Now in my head, what am I supposed to be thinking? What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to react? Like my grandmother said, save face, don't react. Make sure everything's taken care of. Be strong. So I hold it in, push it back, and put on my personality. Oh yes, he had a son. I'm this, I'm that. I did this and I did that. Yeah, in college, I worked full time, blah, 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 blah. And I finally make it to the after thing and the burial and all of that. Fast forward to me getting home, and it gets quiet. And I'm amongst those four walls that I just lost my cousin in, that I found her in her bedroom. And thinking about my mother, and just a whole lot. The night of my father's funeral, I don't know where my friend was. I was at home by myself. So I'm sitting there by myself, and I just start screaming and hollering and crying. Because I don't know how to feel. I feel an emptiness and a void. I'm wondering, why didn't nobody know me? I'm having all of these mixed emotions. All of these mixed emotions. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to think. I don't know how to think. So I just sit there and try to gather myself. I just start thinking back to how my mother used to call my father. And he never answered. And when he finally answered, she hear other girls in the background and she hang up and she start yelling and crying like I did after that funeral that night. And that what brought me back to my mother. And I remember that first time she took that wine bottle and drank the rest of that wine, and then she looked towards me and said, it's your fault. It's your fault he's not with me. Then she took the bottle off the counter. I hope you're enjoying my Intersex series. I hope you're getting something from this. I hope you're understanding my life, my true story of me being intersex and how it affected the people that I'm talking about in these videos. My father, and my mother, and my cousins, and my friends, and my family, and everybody that I've been around that it affected in my life, and how it affected me, and how I'm getting through it. This is me giving you me in pieces, in episodes. This is my real life story. This is everything that I've honestly been through. This is my truth that I'm walking in, telling all of you the world. I love you all for free. The Phoenix Saga continues. And please stay tuned and keep watching this video for more informational purposes, to get to know me a little bit deeper and to know the fun facts about me and other intersex people alike me. I love you all. Thank you so much for listening to my story, understanding my heart, and hearing me and seeing me. Thank you.
She was a typical pregnancy, so they held her up in the air, and I briefly saw her, and I thought, oh, they told us that it was a girl, but she's a boy.
Pediatric urologist said that he wanted to do a clitoral reduction surgery and a surgery to create a vaginal opening, and he wanted to do this at 6 months old. And there was no medically necessary reason to do it. It was purely cosmetic. Oh, we were both very angry. Doesn't need to have any surgery. There's no medically necessary reason to have a surgery, and we can just let her decide if she ever wants a cosmetic genital surgery. She can choose that for herself, and she can pick whatever it is that she wants to do to her own body at that point.
Initially, we were told not to tell anybody that Rosie was intersex. In an effort to protect her privacy, we were creating shame and stigma, which was exactly the thing that the privacy was supposed to prevent. And so we decided that, you know, out of joy and love for our child, and we were proud of her, and out of wanting to, you know, continue our family's message of body positivity, that we weren't going to be secret anymore.
This is who Rosie is. This is how she was born. We made a decision to be out with Rosie, and now we are, and we've never regretted that decision.
Never fucking apologize for being yourself. If people don't like how you act, how you look, how you speak, that just means those aren't your fucking people. Alright, don't change who you are to match your surroundings. Pick better fucking surroundings and be yourself.